A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the board, I welcome you to the 54th hybrid AGM of IOI Corporation Berhad, which is held in compliance with Section 327 of the Companies Act 2016 and Article 70 of the company's constitution. The conduct of this hybrid AGM is also in accordance with the guidance note on the conduct of general meetings for listed issuers by the Securities Commission Malaysia. Similar to the previous AGM held in the year 2022, the board has decided for the 54th AGM to be conducted both physically and virtually in order to allow effective engagement with our shareholders. Nevertheless, shareholders or proxies who have symptoms of COVID-19 are strongly advised to utilize the remote participation and electronic voting facilities for the sake of public safety. I wish to thank all of you for your presence at this 54th AGM and the continuous support for the company. We are pleased to be able to connect with you and answer any queries that you may have relating to the company and the agenda of today's meeting. Before we proceed with the business of this AGM, I will explain the conduct of the meeting today. We will start by putting forth all the resolutions. After all agenda items have been tabled, we will proceed to present our responses to the queries received from the Minority Shareholders Watch Group. After that, we will move on to the Q&A sessions to address questions related to the agenda items and resolutions tabled for approval at this meeting. We will first address questions from online meeting platform, followed by questions from the floor. The voting sessions will be opened at a time which I will announce later during this meeting. Once the voting session is open, you may vote at any time during the meeting proceedings until the completion of the Q&A sessions. We will try our level best to answer all questions submitted to us. For questions which are related or similar in nature, we will group the questions and provide a single response. For those present at this physical meeting venue today, kindly switch off your mobile phones or set it on silent mode. This is to ensure the meeting of this AGM will proceed smoothly. Please be informed that any form of photography and recording of video or audio by shareholders or proxies throughout this meeting is strictly prohibited. An official video recording of this AGM will be uploaded onto our website for public viewing later. As mentioned in our administrative guide to the 54th AGM, only shareholders and proxies who attend this meeting physically are eligible to receive e-vouchers in the form of Touch and Go e-wallet credits. The Touch and Go e-wallet reload pins will be emailed to eligible shareholders and proxies within 14 business days from the date of this AGM. To ensure that the reload pin is sent to your valid email address, kindly scan the dedicated QR code located outside this ballroom and fill up the online form with the required details. You may fill out the online forms at any time during this AGM, or as this QR code, will remain open until the conclusion of this meeting. We also wish to highlight that in case of emergency, you may evacuate this ballroom through exits on your left side. Let us now watch a video to better understand the evacuation process and the actions we should follow in the event of emergency.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Le Méridien Hotel Putrajaya. I'm the safety officer of this hotel, and please allow me to take 3 minutes of your time to brief on the emergency procedures of this hotel. You are currently at Millennium Ballroom Level 1. In the event of fire or any other emergencies, you will hear a continuous alarm bell followed by an announcement from our public addressing system. In the event if it's a real alarm, then an evacuation announcement will be made throughout the hotel. Even if it's a false alarm, an announcement will be made informing that it is a false alarm. Please do not panic, do not run, do not use lift, and do not use the elevators. Stay calm as the hotel's trained emergency response team will immediately take charge of the situation and will direct you to the nearest emergency staircase. Our fire exits are clearly marked throughout the hotel, and there are 2 fire exit staircases which is located outside of this meeting room. Once reaching the staircase, walk down to the ground floor and exit out of this building through the main glass door. Our hotel emergency response team then will direct you to the assembly area, which is located about 80 meters away from the hotel lobby.
Thank you for that safety briefing by the hotel. Ladies and gentlemen, before proceeding with the agenda of today's meeting, let me introduce my fellow directors and members of the senior management in attendance today. With me, from my far left, on the first row at this meeting venue, our independent non-executive director, Dato' Kong Soy Lin, and the company secretary, Vincent Tan Chun Kiang. On my immediate right, we have our Group Managing Director and Chief Executive, Dato' Lee Yao Cho. And on the right of Dato' Lee, Independent Non-Executive Director, Dr. Nisa Durai Kalaniti. And on the second row, starting from my left, we have our non-independent, non-executive director, Mr. Chia Tek Kwong. Independent non-executive director, Mr. James Lim Tuang Oi. Independent Non-Executive Director Dato Zurina binti Pawante. And next to is our Group Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Kong Kian Beng. Tuning in remotely at this meeting is our Independent Non-Executive Director, Tan Sri Dr. Rahmat Biwi. We wish to inform that our non-independent, non-executive director, Mr. Lee Yao Sang, is unable to attend today's AGM due to another commitment. He has conveyed his apologies to all of you for not being able to attend. Also present at this meeting are Audit Engagement Partner, Mr. Tan Seng Chun, who is attending virtually from America, I was told. And the Audit Director, Mr. Wong Wen Ping, at this meeting venue, both from BDO PLT. They will be available to answer any question relating to the auditor's report later on. I shall now call upon the Company Secretary, Mr. Vincent Tan, to confirm if there is a quorum to proceed with today's meeting.
Thank you, Tan Sri Peter, Chairman. I wish to inform that under Article 65 of the company's constitutions, the quorum necessary for the transactions of business at the general meeting shall be 2 shareholders present personally, or by proxy, or by corporate representative entitled to vote. I'm pleased to confirm the presence of the requisite quorum as at the commencement of this AGM.
Thank you, Vincent. I shall now call the meeting to order. Ladies and gentlemen, the notice of AGM has been issued and published within the stipulated time and advertised in the Star newspaper. If there are no objections, we shall take the notice as read. In my capacity as chairman of the meeting, I have been appointed as proxy by some shareholders, and hence I will be voting in accordance with their instructions. In compliance with the main market listing requirements of Bursa Malaysia, all ordinary resolutions set out in the notice of AGM will be voted by poll. Therefore, as chairman of the meeting, I hereby demand a poll to be taken on all the resolutions pursuant to Article 73 of the company's constitution. Our administration and polling agent, KPMG Management and Risk Consulting Sdn Berhad, will conduct the electronic polling, whilst SKY Corporate Services Sdn Berhad will act as independent scrutineers to validate the vote cast during this meeting. The representative of KPMG will now conduct a presentation of the poll procedure and functions available within the Convene AGM online portal.
Thank you, Tan Sri Chairman. Good morning to IOI Corporation Berhad Board of Directors, shareholders, and proxies. I'm the poll administrator appointed to provide electronic poll voting services at this meeting. I will now explain the process for the electronic poll voting. During registration this morning, we have asked you to scan a personalized QR code. The QR code is unique to each attendee. They contain information about you and your voting entitlement. Once you have signed in, you should see your name at the top right-hand corner of the screen. You can use Convene AGM meeting platform to ask questions, vote, and watch the live webcast. Do not play the live webcast if you are seated inside Millennium Ballroom 1. However, should you need to step out of the ballroom during the meeting, you can click on the live webcast to follow the AGM proceedings from outside. If you have accidentally closed the browser or unable to get back to the meeting platform, please head to the back of the hall near the exit and approach the help desk team for assistance. Alternatively, you can put up your hand and one of us will come to you. As soon as the poll opens, you should be able to see the voting options. There are altogether 9 resolutions put for voting today. As such, make sure you cast your votes 9 times. You should receive a message showing voted successfully before moving to the next resolution. If you are representing multiple proxies, you may vote for each of them separately or cast all your votes on your selected option. You may change your vote at any time while the poll is still open by simply clicking on the cancel button and resubmit your option. Once the poll has ended or after voting, you can log out from Convene AGM by clicking on your name at the top right-hand corner of the screen and select Sign Out. To summarize, we shall now play a short video clip.
AGM at Convene allows you to fully participate in the meeting anywhere you are. Let's get started. For questions, select Ask a Question. For textual questions, click Type your question. Choose the related question type if prompted before submitting. Here's how to vote. Cast your vote on the desired option. Select Next to see other resolutions and vote accordingly. Should you want to change your vote, click on Cancel Vote and vote again. Need some extra help? Simply select Contact Support and chat with our help desk to talk to our friendly team.
Webcast not loading? How to change to alternative channels. Click the Alternative Channels button at the bottom of the screen. Select the channel that best shows the webcast on your device. Wait for the alternative channel to load.
This concludes my presentation. I now hand back the meeting to Tan Sri Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl of KPMG. The voting period is now open for you to cast your votes. Please note that you can do so, casting your votes, you can do so anytime during these meeting proceedings until the completion of the Q&A sessions. For those tuning in online, you may submit your questions during the course of this AGM by clicking on the Answer a Question button at the bottom of your webcast screen. Questions can be submitted anytime during the announcement of the closure of the Q&A, until the announcement of the closure of the Q&A session. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now present our group's financial performance for the financial year ended 30th June 2023. Allow me to invite our group CFO, Mr. Kong Kian Beng, to conduct the presentation. Mr. Kong.
Thank you, Tan Sri Chairman. I now present to you the group financial performance overview for FY 2023. FY23 revenue decreased by 26%, which is due primarily to lower commodity prices and sales volume as a result of slower global demand. Profit before tax of FY23 decreased by 35% to 1.53 billion ringgit. Excluding the fair values and non-operating items, the underlying profit before tax stood at 1.76 billion ringgit, a 31% decrease over last financial year. The decrease was mainly due to lower plantation profits, mitigated by higher resource-based manufacturing profit. Profit after tax for FY23 was at 1.1 billion ringgit, a 36% decrease from FY22. Earnings per share for FY23 was at 17.95 cents per share. For FY23 segment profit mix, the plantation contributed 63% of the total segment profits, a decreased contribution mix compared to FY22, which contributed 78%. FY23 plantation segment profit decreased by 45% to 1.15 billion ringgit. The lower profit was mainly due to lower commodity prices, higher cost of production, and the lower share of associate results impacted by lower commodity prices. Average CPO price for FY23 was at 4,118 ringgit per metric ton, a 12% decrease over FY22 prices. FY23 resource-based manufacturing segment profit increased by 29% over FY22. By excluding the fair values and non-operating items, the FY23 underlying profit for RBM was at 749 million ringgit, a 34% increase over FY22 underlying profits. The higher underlying profits was mainly due to higher margins from refining sub-segment, partially offset by lower margins from the oleochemical sub-segments. The group's FY23 balance sheet remains strong. The group has high level of liquidity with cash and cash equivalents of 2.2 billion ringgit and a low net gearing ratio of 0.14, which is an improvement over FY23. For capital expenditure, in total, the group spent 621 million ringgit for FY23, a 39% increase over FY22. The increase in capex was mainly due to higher planting area, increased mechanization capex, and the completion of the palm wood factory in Segamat. In addition to the capex spend, during the financial year, the group also made an investment of approximately 140 million ringgit in an US refinery through our 20% owned associate company, Bangi Lodes Crockland. For dividend, the group has declared in total 11 cents per share for FY23, with a total dividend payout of 683 million ringgit. In addition, the group has also spent in total 34 million ringgit for share buyback with an average price of 3.71 ringgit per share during the FY23. This is the end of my presentation. I now pass the mic back to Tan Sri Chairman for him to conduct the rest of the meeting's agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kong, for this presentation. This year, we will also be providing a short update of our group's sustainability initiatives and efforts. So without further delay, let me invite our Group Head of Sustainability, Dr. Zurina binti Ismail, to share her presentation to all of us.
Good morning, Board of Directors, Datuk Lee, and ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for the privilege of allowing us to share our sustainability journey forward. So, since this is the first time that we're presenting our sustainability journey forward, I would like to introduce to you our corporate sustainability, our vision, pillars, and approach to sustainability. We would like to say that our sustainable vision is about meeting the needs of the present without compromising the future generation by committing to protect, rehabilitate, and preserve the environment that we live in, to ensure the economic and social well-being of our employees, and their families, as the wider communities are safeguarded, as well as leading and innovating, as well as embedding sustainability within our business. Our IOI's corporate sustainability is very much in line with our 3 pillars of sustainability, which is a business strategy for the prosperity of the company that works in harmony with people and planet. Our approach to sustainability encompasses by defining our sustainability vision and then engaging with our stakeholders, both internal and external, in order for us to understand the concerns and the gaps that we need to address. After which we will set goals and commitments, and then establish the systems and processes in order for us to implement the goals and the commitment that we have articulated. And at the end of it, we also track the progress of our commitment, and also meet and also try and report and meet the expectation of our stakeholders. We believe that ESG is very important. It's without a strong governance, it's not going to be effective. Therefore, we have incorporated, since our last financial year, a board sustainability committee in which the group sustainability steering committee reports to, and in the implementation of all the strategies and the initiatives that has been decided at the board level. We also adopted 6 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which are most relevant to our business. In terms of our approach to environment, environmental management policies and guidelines serve the backbone of our environmental approach. We have our sustainable palm oil policy, and with that, we have all the environmental management guidelines that covers fire, peatland protection, as well as biodiversity and ecosystem. This year, we actually enhance further our biodiversity and ecosystem guideline to include in the step 4, the enhancement, not just impact evaluation, mitigation, and protection of biodiversity, but also the enhancements of our biodiversity. This is very much in line with our commitment towards climate change, whereby we have committed since 2019 in our Climate Change Action Initiative that we would want to reduce our greenhouse gas emission in 2025 about 40%, and by 2030, carbon neutral for scope 1 and 2, and ultimately a pathway to net zero by 2040, where we will cover both scope 1, 2, and 3. We will utilize 3 basic approach, which is nature-based solution, engineered solutions, supply chain management. Now, I realize that these are very, very, big words. I'll be open to any questions later on if there's a need to understand some of the details of our approach. In terms, sorry. Oops. Okay, in terms of our social issues, we institute social impact assessment, and there are 4 groups in which we look at. We look at labor rights, and this is really important because our migrant workers and our workers are the backbone of IOI. So we have employment process where we introduce pre-employment, employment, as well as post-employment phases. And we look after our children and our women's right by introducing such thing as the Women and Empowerment Committee. And we also look at the rights of local communities. We further also introduce digital transformation in our initiatives to help prevent forced labor and child labor. The first thing that we have done was the implementation of the SAP ERP system, which enables us to standardize wages, working hours, headcounts, employment status. We also want to make sure that the grievances by our workers are being addressed, and we introduced a digital grievance application called IOI Mistral, and this is a 24/7 app that enables the workers to report any grievances anonymously. We also introduced direct online interview during recruitment process, and this is an online interview that we conduct with our workers in the source country. This is to combat forced labor indicators during recruitment in the source country. We introduced online assessment for pre-alert grievance system, and this is an additional step to bridge any gaps regarding our workers' welfare and well-being. A digital e-wallet system for money transfer was also introduced to provide systematic salary disbursement to all our workers through digital banking system. Children Education Initiative, a pledge that we did to ILO in 2021, is an ongoing initiative. This is to counter child labor through education. This is a zero cost, full day education for our workers' children in Sabah. I think with all these digital transformation programs, we feel that our workers and their children would be taken care of. With that, I thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Zurina. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's now proceed with the agenda of today's AGM. The first item on the agenda is to receive the audited financial statements for the financial year ended 30th June 2023 and the reports of the directors and auditors thereon. The audited financial statements are laid in accordance with Section 340 of the Companies Act 2016. As this item is for discussion only and do not require shareholders' approval, it would not be put forward for voting. Summary of the group's financial overview and performance highlights for the financial year 2023 are set out on pages 54 to 62 of the annual report. The business review of our operations is outlined on pages 64 to 75 of the annual report. For shareholders who are keen to read more about our group's sustainability matters, you may refer to our standalone sustainability report, which is made available on our website. We wish to inform once again that the Q&A session will be held after the agenda items have been read. So, ladies and gentlemen, the board wishes to announce that Mr. Chia Tek Kwong and Tan Sri Dr. Rahmat Bivi will be retiring from the board upon the conclusions of today's AGM. Mr. Chia has been a valuable member of the board for the past 11 years. As a member of the Audit and Risk Management Committee, as well as a past chairman of the Governance, Nominating and Remuneration Committee. The board and senior management team had benefited greatly from Mr. Chia's objective advice and views throughout his tenure with us. We thank Mr. Chia for his contributions. As for Tan Sri Dr. Rahmat, She will be retiring by rotation from the board pursuant to Article 91 of the company's constitution. She has informed the board that she does not wish to seek re-election at this AGM. During her tenure with us for the past 6 years, she has discharged her duties faithfully as a member of the Audit and Risk Management Committee, as well as the existing chairman of the Governance, Nominating and Remuneration Committee. Considering Tan Sri Dr. Rahmat's decision to retire from her office, the board therefore had not put forward any resolution for her re-election as a director at this AGM. We wish to thank Tan Sri Dr. Rahmat for her past services to the board. The second item on the agenda deals with the re-election of Mr. Lim Tuan Oi and Dato Zurina binti Pawante, who retire in accordance with Article 97 of the company's constitution, and being eligible, have offered themselves for re-election as directors of the company. Their profiles are set out on pages 82 and 83 of the annual report, respectively. Both Mr. Lim and Dr. Zurina, Dato' Zurina, have undergone the relevant performance evaluation, including a fit and proper assessment for the financial year under review. Following the assessment by our Governance, Nominating and Remuneration Committee, we are confident that Mr. Lim and Dato' Zurina will continue to bring benefits to the company based on their wealth of experiences and skills. Welcome, Mr. Lim and Dr. Zurina to the board. The third item on the agenda deals with the re-election of Dato' Lee Yao Cho, who retires by rotation in accordance with Article 91 of the company's constitution, and being eligible, has offered himself for re-election. Dato' Lee has undergone the relevant performance evaluation, including a fit and proper assessment for the financial year under review. Upon the assessment conducted by our Governance, Nominating and Remuneration Committee, the performance and suitability of Dato' Lee as our Group Managing Director and Chief Executive has been found to be satisfactory. Dato' Lee has also demonstrated his commitment to the role and continues to be an effective and valuable member of the board. Dato' Lee's profile is set out on page 79 of the annual report. The fourth item on the agenda is to approve the payment of directors' fees, inclusive of board committees' fees, of ringgit Malaysia 1.45 million for the financial year ending 30th June 2024, and payable quarterly in areas after each month of completed service of the directors during the financial year. The proposed fees include the amount payable to members of the Board Sustainability Committee, which was newly established in June 2023. Given that the fees receivable by the Board Sustainability Committee members were not contemplated during our previous AGM, we wish to seek our shareholders' approval this year on this amount. And in addition, the proposed fees for all directors for the next financial year. The fee structure is disclosed on page 100 of the annual report under the Corporate Governance Overview Statement. The fifth item on the agenda is to approve the payment of directors' benefits other than directors' fees of up to Ringgit Malaysia 280,000 for the period from 28 October 2023 until the next AGM. The directors' benefits for the said period comprise meeting allowances, insurance coverage, and golf privilege benefit for the independent non-executive directors. Ladies and gentlemen, the sixth item on the agenda is to reappoint BDO PLT as directors for the financial year ending 30th June 2024, and to authorize the directors to fix their remuneration. This resolution is proposed by the board based on the recommendation by our Audit and Risk Management Committee. And having been satisfied with the results of the annual assessment of BDO, we are pleased to inform that BDO has expressed their willingness to continue in office. Next item is the proposed ordinary resolution under agenda item 7.1. And that is to seek renewal of a general mandate, which if passed, will empower the directors to issue and allot shares of not more than 5% of the total number of issued shares of the company for such purposes as the directors consider would be in the interest of the company. This resolution is also to seek shareholders' approval for the company's disapplication of statutory preemption rights under Section 85 of the Companies Act 2016, and to allot new shares or to rights over shares without first offering them to existing shareholders in proportion to their holdings pursuant to the general mandate. I shall take the text of the resolution of the notice of this meeting as having been read. For your information, the company did not issue any new shares pursuant to Section 75 and 76 of the Companies Act 2016 under the general mandate, which was approved during the last AGM of the company. Now, moving on to item 7.2 of the agenda, the proposed ordinary resolution is to seek renewal of the authority for the company to purchase up to 10% of the total number of issued shares of the company. The details of the proposed renewal of the existing share buyback authority are stated in Part A of the circular to shareholders dated 29th September 2023. I shall take the text of this resolution in the notice of this meeting as having been read. Item 7.3 of the agenda is to seek approval from the shareholders for renewal of shareholders' mandate for the recurrent related party transactions of a revenue or trading nature, which are necessary for day-to-day operations involving the interests of the directors, major shareholders, or persons connected to the directors and/or major shareholders of the company and its subsidiaries. I shall take the text of the resolution in the notice of this meeting as having been read. The interested directors, interested major shareholders, and the persons connected to them are set out on Part B, Section 12 of the circular to shareholders issued on the 29th September 2023. These interested parties, together with persons connected to them, shall abstain from voting on this resolution. Lastly, item 8 of the agenda is to transact any other businesses of which due notice shall have been given. I have been informed earlier by the company secretary that we have not received any notice to transact any other business at this AGM. So, dear shareholders, we shall now address the question received from the Minority Shareholders Watch Group. Let me invite our Group Managing Director and Chief Executive, Dato' Lee, to present our answers to MSWG's question.
Okay, thank you, Tan Sri Chairman. So, the MSWG has requested us to put up the questions and as well as the answers on the screen. So therefore, we put it up. I would request that the company secretary will just quickly read through the questions and then I will give the answer, which will be more than what is shown on the screen.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lee. Question number 1 is the group initiated a 5-year plan in March 2020. Now in its 4th year, where the first priority is to increase plantation oil yield, but at least 15% by the year end 2024. The labor shortage also caused a delay in the group's fertilizing, milling, and transportation activities. As a result, the CPO production output was affected, which led to a lower oil yields. Given the delay in fertilizing of the group's plantations and the potential effects of El Nino phenomenon, is the target to increase plantation oil yield by at least 15% by the end of 2024 still achievable?
Okay. So if the question is framed in terms of our group's overall plantation yield, indeed, if you're talking about 15% increase, that's not achievable. And that is primarily due to our nearly 50% of old palms. Old palms meaning those between above 21 years of. So, but however, during the last few years, the company has gone on the aggressive replanting activities. And this has reduced the proportion from 50-something% to about 40% now of the old palms. So there's been some delay of this replanting in the last 2 years due to the pandemic and also the high price of the palm oil. So the high price, in fact, was make it not worthwhile for us to immediately fell down the palms, and we want to take advantage of the high palm price. So these are the answers that's been prepared by our investor relations. But actually, what I want to say is that the fire plan is not framed in such a way that in 5 years' time, the overall OU of the group will increase by 15%. So actually, the plan is more granular, more detailed than what is being shown or stated. So the way that we have done this is to divide up the yield according to the different age groups of the palms. So for example, we put it into three categories of palms. 5 to 10 years, we expect a targeted oil yield of 5.3 tons per hectare per year. For those that are young, 5.3 tons per hectare per year. And then we have another target for those 11 to 20 years, and then another target oil yield for those above 21 years and above. So this is how we do it, and we want to achieve the at least 15% increase on those age group palm yield. Actually, we have managed to achieve it, if you look at it in that way. So because, of course, if you look at it in terms of our older palms, which has a very low oil yield, so we are lagging behind. But if you look at it by age groups, we have achieved what we have aimed out to be, or I would say well on the way to achieving it. So take, for example, the youngest palm age group, 5 to 10 years. So our aim actually is to achieve 5.3 metric tons per hectare per year. And this is made up of FFBU, 22 tons per hectare, and then the OER, 24%. OER, 24%. So today, actually, from our young replanted palms, we have managed to, say for year 5, we managed to get 18 metric tons per hectare, FFBU. Year 7, 25. Year 10, 30 metric tons per hectare. So the average is more than the 22 tons per hectare FFBU that we had targeted. As for the OER of 24%, actually we are also well on target to achieve or even exceed that. So for example, we have a mill in Sabah called Lipang Mill. So the last 10 years, our OER has been hovering at about 20%. But this financial year, our OER is about 22%. So 10% increase from earlier years. And we have another mill, Baturong Mill, which we have received awards in the past for being the highest, having the highest OER. So that's because more than 70% of the crop for this Baturong Mill are young crops. So this financial year, we have managed to achieve OER of more than 25%. More than 25%. So I believe this is the highest in the country. And so this, if you look at it in that way, actually our OER has exceeded by the target of more than 15%. So only admittedly, the FFBU for the older palms above 21 years and above has not increased, and that is primarily due to the shortage of skilled tall palm harvesters. We have no problem in harvesting the younger palms, but only on the very tall palms which are old. So, but nevertheless, our plan is that for these old oil palms, substantially, most part of 70% of these old palms will be replanted over the next 3 financial years. And then when this is completed, of course, we would be able to see a much higher increase in our oil yield per hectare. Question 2, please.
Okay. The group's second strategic priority center on reductions of its plantations workforce by increasing the land to worker ratios through implementation of various estate mechanization and digitization initiatives. As the group is accelerating its digitalization and mechanization plans to progressively reduce its dependency on its manual workers, what would be the ideal manual workers workforce size for optimum fresh fruit bunch productions?
Okay, so we are looking at the optimal land to workers ratio of not 11, 10 hectares to 1 worker. Okay, and of course this is through what has been mentioned. Following page, please. Oh, okay. So now in terms of mechanization, I think we will switch on the light. It's better that way. So now in terms of mechanization, there are a few parts to it. So there's the mainline mechanized FFB evacuation. That means that is from the road to the mill or the road to the ramp. So that part we have managed to implement mainline mechanization for Malaysian plantations of nearly 80%. So that is quite a good achievement, because there are also some terrain that are not suitable to implement this mechanization, because it's either they are just replanted, the crop volume are still very small, bunches are very small, or the volume is very small. So it's not economical to implement that. And also sometimes some very steep hill, we also reduce our impede our mainline FFB evacuation mechanized system. So about 80%, which is largely what we can do at the moment. But in addition, also we have other parts of the operations, what we call the infill FFB evacuation. Infill means from the trees to the road. Main line is from the road to the mill. So from the trees to the road, we call it infill evacuation. We have purchased quite a lot of equipment also. So for that, we have bought about 630 units of power barrows, mechanical cart, we call it power crawler. And then so that's second category. And then for the field maintenance, namely weeding, spraying, for the chemical spraying, and fertilizer application, we also have bought about 60 over this either tractor mounted or self-driving machines for this field maintenance purpose. So this is what we have done. So in the end, we are confident that we will be able to achieve this 1:10 ratio quite soon. But at the moment, we are only at 8.5 to 1, 8.5 hectares to 1. Our target is 10 hectares to 1 workers. And that means we still more than what we require. And that's because of the catch-up work, the backlog of work that we have to do. And also for immature palms, young palms are immature when they are before production. Actually, they require much more maintenance on spraying, etc. So that is only, I expect to be just for the 1 or 2 years. But after that, we should be able to achieve this 10 hectares to 1 worker ratio. And I think what is important another aspect to this is not only is the reduction in numbers, it's also the type of jobs that we have managed to change in the estates. So instead of a manual job like loading, lifting up 20 kilogram of fruit bunches and trying to hit up 5 feet high on the lorry, which is very physically exhausting. So we have converted the job to tractor driver, for example, or this grabber driver who will just grab using the grabber to grab the fruit and then put it onto the bin, which will be onto the lorry. So the job has been converted from physically demanding to the less physically demanding. And then in addition, we have using the mobile devices. We also have created jobs for bunch quality checkers. So going around the field, checking the quality of the bunches and inputting them in the mobile device. And then also because of the emphasis on labor conditions, we also created new jobs like the health and housing facilities inspectors, making sure that facilities are in order for the workers. So all these are the conversion of jobs that become actually suitable for Malaysians, locals to hold. So, and that is also another direction we are going to. Not only just the number, but also the type of the jobs. Question number 3, please.
This is the last question, and it's on our downstream activity. The group's new 110,000 metric ton year capacity fatty acid plant in Prime Penang and state-of-the-art soap noodles plant in Pasir Gudang, Johor started commissioning in the second quarter of 2023. This new fatty acid plant has increased the group oleochemicals production capacity by about 14% from 780,000 metric ton per year to 890,000 metric ton per year. To what extent has the group's new fatty acid and soup noodle plants capacity been taken up?
So our plant, unfortunately, was commissioned this year, which is timing-wise it's not good. We are having this global high inflation environment, which particularly affects the industrial goods. So therefore, even though we have increased our capacity by 14%, actually our utilization, the production volume has not increased that much. But what we have done is because these newer plants are more energy efficient, for the soup noodle plant also, it is as they put it, more state of the art. That's because it can come up with many soup formulations. So therefore, we have, instead of using the old plants, we have switched to using more of the new plants. Okay, I think that's end of these questions from the Minority Shareholders Watch Group. Is there questions from PMB?
There are questions also received from PMB. Later, I think we will share fresh up also.
Okay. Later or now?
Can we fresh up the questions received from PMB? Probably we can go through with the other pre-submitted question first. Probably I'll read it out.
Oh, okay.
Chairman, if you can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I have the questions? Pre-submitted questions. The first questions from our shareholders. Lo Yok Yen. Do you intend to grow IOI oleochemicals eventually into the size of, say, Akima's SA globally? Dr. Lee, please.
I must say I don't know the company, Akima. So this is online or online?
Pre-submitted.
Pre-submitted.
Yeah, true.
Pre-submitted, you didn't show it to me.
Online.
Not very efficient, huh? Okay. So I don't know what is Akima, how big is their size. But what I can say is that if you read our annual report, so in Germany we have 2 ester plants, and 40% of that volume is for pharmaceutical ingredients, and about another 30% for personal care and principally cosmetic products. So these are high value products, and over the last 3 years, we have managed to file in 20 over patents on the pharmaceutical application. So our emphasis, what I want to say is that our emphasis is not on size, but on the profitability, the margin per ton. So our ambition is to go into specialized esters, and which, if you compare to basic fatty acid production in Malaysia, the difference can be 10 times or 1,000%. So that's what we are aiming for, not to necessarily go into the size, but more that higher value added segment. Next.
The questions number 2 from this Ho Seng Kun. Considering the current hybrid working and the constraint for the sum of shareholders residing away from the Klang Valley area, I do hope IOI corporations could review the terms and issue e-vouchers to all shareholders, regardless of whether he or she is physically attending the AGM or not.
So I believe Tan Sri Chairman has already addressed that issue. We are issuing the e-voucher this year. That's what I said last year. Looks like you don't quite trust what I said. That's why you want to make sure you ask again. So we are committed to it. All right. Next one. Any dog gifts for shareholders? Well, no dog gifts per se, but just the e-vouchers. Question 4 still on dog gifts, eh?
Yeah. Can we move on to the next?
Okay. I think I answered it. Yeah. Okay.
These questions that was I think from Hashim Suhaimi, I think PNB. Fresh fruit bunch yields have been declining for the past 5 years, notwithstanding the efforts to fix the age profile of the oil palms. What step has the companies taken to address declining yields?
So I believe that was the questions posed by MSWG just now. So I've explained quite at length about it. So I think we can skip answering this.
Okay. All right. Next, considering that fertilizers costs have declined versus the previous year, what is the IOI cost projections for FY 2024 versus FY 2023 in terms of ringgit per metric hectare?
Yeah. So yes, fertilizer costs have indeed declined by about 30% from this year compared to last year. And not only that, also diesel costs. Last year was 5 something, this year 3 something ringgit. So all these have. So last year, because of all these issues, historically high fertilizer price, the diesel price, so our costs indeed have gone up, I would say, substantially, and very significantly to around 2,500 ringgit per ton. That's including the taxes also, the levies and the sales tax that we have to pay to the government, state government, windfall levy, some of it. So 2,500 ringgit. But this year, I believe we can reduce the cost by at least 300 ringgit. So that means we should be able to achieve cost of below 2,200 ringgit per ton compared to 2,500 ringgit per ton last year.
All right, thank you. Next, what is the overall current level of mechanization for the estate, and how has it helped in achieving the company's ideal man-to-land ratios?
So again, I think this has been answered already.
Yeah.
Is
All right.
Hashim from PNB?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Next, how successful has the company been in recruiting local workers to work at the estate, and whether there's a percentage target to be achieved by end of financial year ending 2024?
Yeah. So not very successful, the recruiting local workers so last 3 years, we managed to recruit maybe just around 300 workers for Peninsular Malaysia only, local workers. Yeah. So this compares to our 5,000 requirement, so it's not significant. And I'm not giving the figures of Sabah. Sabah we don't really monitor because it's very difficult to differentiate between who are the locals and who are the foreigners. So the foreigners may also hold local identification. So therefore we don't really monitor this very closely. And then there's another part to it, isn't it? Just now. Can you?
Yeah. This will be the last questions already. Yeah. Can we?
No. So
Can
I
we go
thought
back
there's go back to the previous question. There's a percentage target to be achieved by end. So we don't set a target because we tried very hard. We put posters, we give extra allowance to attract locals. Yet I would say the result is dismal. But just now, as I explained, as we change the nature of job, then we will. I believe we will attract more and more local workers. And yeah, okay.
All right. I move on to the last questions from the PMB. On page 35 of our annual report, IOI plans to replace the natural gas supply with oil for downstream plants, was embarking on efficiency projects to combat rising costs. Considering that oil has higher emissions than natural gas, what is the net change in IOI carbon intensity post change in energy supply and efficiency projects, and whether this is aligned with IOI net zero targets?
Okay, so I must commend the PMB analysts for reading the annual report very thoroughly. So I was surprised we mentioned that, and then so I look at it. This one you have informed me about questions. So I look at it. Actually, okay, that was a comment in relation to our plant in Germany. So end of last year, if you recall, due to Russian-Ukraine crisis, Germany, more than 60% of their natural gas supply depends on Ukraine or Russia. So that gets stopped. So there was a worry that it's not just the price alone, price may go up, even the availability of natural gas will not be there. So this is a contingency plan only that our German operations have put in. So worst come to worst, you say if natural gas is not available, we will switch to oil. But actually in the end, it didn't happen, because in the end, the winter was milder than projected. So the gas was available. Not only that, actually the price, earlier on it went up to probably 4 times than pre-pandemic level, but now it's around 2 times only. So actually it went down. So we didn't have to go on that contingency plan. So definitely we are very well aware of this, our net zero target, that we want to reduce the emissions. And we have, Dr. Srina just now have mentioned, we have an ambitious target to meet 2040. So net zero. So that is very challenging, and so we have to be very dedicated towards this commitment. So,
All right.
yeah, there are some more questions from the.
Some more.
Yeah,
we will address
later. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Lee. Excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall now respond to questions relating to the agenda items that are tabled at this meeting. We shall first address questions which are pre-submitted by our shareholders prior to today's meeting. After that, we will answer questions received online. And now I will ask the Company Secretary to read out the questions posed by our shareholders.
All right. Thank you, Chairman. We have received quite numbers of the online questions for the time being. I will read out the first questions to Dr. Lee. As the ESG inflation is happening now, how will the companies overcome these issues?
Okay, don't really know because you link ESG with inflation together. I don't really know, understand what's the angle that you're coming from. So inflation, of course, if it's general inflation, just now I've already explained, fertilizer cost has come down, diesel cost has come down from last year, and of course labor cost has gone up, nevertheless. So that's been answered. And then ESG, I don't know. So if it's a concern about ESG, I think Dr. Serena has explained. We have indeed a very structured plan to address these issues. And this journey for us, ESG journey for us has started, I would say, since 1995. So 18 years ago. So we have started much earlier on this journey. Next, please.
All right. Please explain the key factors affecting our company's growth and profitability, both positively and negatively. And how, with that initiative, have your company taken to negate the adverse effect of geopolitics, climate change, and labor shortage and skill issue from Ho Yun Ring? Yeah, Dr. Lee, please.
Yeah. So, positive factors supporting our growth, our profitability and growth is the young palms that I mentioned to you, that very promising because it's new materials, high OER, and we have also improved our method of replanting our palms. So for example, we put more land preparation, more wider terrace, etc., for mechanization in our replanting program. So that is and price, I would say, not to the very high level 1.5 years ago, but still sufficiently good, 3,700 to 3,900 ringgit per ton, still much higher than historical average of just 2,700 ringgit. So the last 10 years historical average is about 2,700 ringgit per ton. We are above that. Negatively is the cost. The cost of production has increased a lot. Just now I've mentioned already. And also our old palms that we are still take another 3 years to substantially replant them. What initiative have we taken to negate the adverse effects of geopolitics, climate change, labor shortage, skill issues? So the geopolitics for, if you're saying palm oil for food, because it's food, it's in fact, demands resilient, and in fact sometimes it benefits us because with the conflict, the price for food indeed has increased. For the effect of climate change, you are talking about the drought, etc. So indeed, that is potentially a problem, El Nino. But I must also say that if you look around us, we don't find the effect of El Nino anytime. Yeah. Yes, and you see some of us has to brave the rain the last few days also. And even in Sabah, I came back from there week before last week. Again, actually it's raining every day. And so it is not, so not yet happening. labor shortage. So I think shortage. I think I may have said this last year when there was a lot of concern about labor issues from the customs, borders, and protection. So we have done a lot of things to address any of such concern about mistreatment of labor or labor rights. So firstly, to let them understand the picture, we have almost 8,000 buildings, 8,000 big and small buildings, houses, offices, etc. in our estates. So we need to have a good program of maintaining all these buildings. So we have spent a lot of money starting last year to do that. And then in terms of paying the wages, so we also have done a lot of improvements in monitoring the number of hours the workers work. So we are using IT, etc., to also monitor that. So that's how we try to improve our conditions for our workers, our treatment of our workers, and that I believe will help to reduce very substantially the turnover among them. Next, please.
All right, I go on to the next questions. What is the purpose or usage of the funds to be raised on new share issuance?
Okay, the normal purpose for this is in case that sometimes the company needs extra capital for certain big acquisition. And suddenly they find that they need the capital. So if it's 5% of, actually the allowable by the Companies Act is 10%, but I don't foresee we need 10%, so therefore we just say 5%. That's just as a backup. But I would say in the last 15 years we have not used that. But for prudence sake, we have put this provision every year.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Lee. I'll move on to one of the shareholders, Mr. Tan. With regard to resolution number 9, have the board conducted any comparable price assessments of the recurrent related party transaction with other similar transactions with non-related party?
Yeah. I'm looking. You want to answer the question? You want to answer the question, or I can answer? Okay. So the procedure is all these are gone through the board audit and risk management committee. That's why I was asking Datuk Kong, who is the chairman of the audit and risk management committee. So this done. So indeed, we have done this. So the process is firstly the internal audit department will review that by market comparison, by fairness benchmark, and then this is and then this presented to the board committee, audit committee, and then after that the board will endorse it.
All right. I'll move on to next questions. It's related to the questions on the allotment of shares. And we also have this resolution number 8 on the share buyback. So the shareholders ask whether these resolutions contradict with the early resolution on the issuance of shares. I think I can answer this.
Okay. All right.
Actually, there's no contradictions in that sense because share buyback, there's a mandate given to the board for that up to 10%, whereas for the allotment of shares is for more on a strategic expansion plan. All right. Yes, I think there's restriction why at the same time you cancel your share or buyback and at the same time you issue. But that could mean it's for the different strategic reason. All right.
Also, there's 365 days in a year. So at different times, you do different things. So when share price is very low, we find that we find that it should not be the case. We will do some share buyback. But After doing that, maybe suddenly we find there's an opportunity a few months later, then of course we may want to get more capital. So that's, yeah, it's different timing.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Lee. I'll move on to another from a shareholder, Mr. Tan Seng Keng, asking on the resolution 4. Have the remuneration committee, which is our case as GNRC, done any assessment on the board remunerations with comparison with the other similar size of the public listed company? If yes, how does the group compare to others?
Okay, again, I'm answering on behalf of the Remuneration Committee, which is chaired by Tan Sri Rahmat, but she's online, maybe it's not so convenient to do so. So, yeah, indeed, this is done. I think this is done, and more officially every 3 or 4 years. So every 3 or 4 years, we will engage external consultants. I think KPMG was the one that we consulted the last time, or maybe twice already. And so we do this board benchmarking with other group. So how do we compare to the others? So I would say they look at the percentile basis. So on a 50th percentile, meaning for more the top 50% of the companies, so IOI compares favorably. But for top 75%, we are about there, just about there. So that is how we benchmark. So not low, because IOI is the 15th largest company on the Kuala Lumpur Stock Exchange. So we are probably in the top 3% of the, or even lesser, top 1.5%. Top 1. If you say 1,000 companies, so we are in the top 1.5% of the. So, but we are just comparing ourselves with 75 percentile. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'll move on to the next on the financial statement on the operations. Logistic cost of raw material is going up or going down. Since the Ukraine war, costs have gone up substantially. What is the forecast going forward?
Logistics cost, very complicated. You asked me 2 months ago, my answer would be different from today. So, and then there are 2 parts to it. One is container, one is bulk. So container is the one that has gone up a lot. Last year, we talked about Ukraine war, January 2022. So even before that pandemic, from the days of pandemic, container costs, especially cross-continent, gone up like 3 times. And it has come down also substantially since. Then for the bulk one, bulk means that means for fertilizer, etc. So it was, in fact, it didn't go up that much during the pandemic time or during the war. However, lately, somehow it has gone up also. It has gone up while container freight has gone down. Yeah. Forecast, I don't know.
Okay, we have not received further any online questions, so I'll back to Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Lee, and thank you, Vincent. If there are no further questions from our off-site shareholders, we will now receive questions from the floor. Kindly make your way towards the microphones to post your questions. For record purposes, please state your full name before asking your question. Thank you. Yeah, first one, please.
Good morning, Chairman, Board of Directors. My name is Liu Takwai, a shareholder. I have 3 questions at the moment. mainly on page 21, the first two questions, the G Group MD's statement. First question is on the investment in the palm wood manufacturing. Okay, it's very nice to know that company is going to grow further, into the value chain, not relying entirely on downstream and upstream oil palm. Question is, how much has already been invested in this wood palm? And it's mentioned here that going forward, the company will launch the product and to scale up production. So what sort of target? First, of course, is how much you have invested and intend to invest for this project. What sort of timeline you're looking at, like the sales, and when do you expect to see profits from this business? Then the second question is relating to further down, because the Group MD mentioned a lot about the 5 initiatives, 5 strategic priorities. The third one is on the mitigating exposure to the palm volatility, price volatility. So that one of the things that they hear is to diversify into other crops. Mentioned here that started planting coconuts, 1,000 hectares. Question is, why coconut? I think the biggest coconut producer listed is United Plantation. I think we have asked before during the AGM, it is not very, it's not very significant, the contribution. I think probably because of pricing or what, compared to what they earn from palm oil is quite negligible. So question is, why coconut? Is it because of the nature of the geographical nature of the soil, terrain, or those? It's more suitable to plant coconut, And have the board and the management considered other crops? I think the current issue now in Malaysia is like, not only in Malaysia, in other countries, the price of food, basic food, fruits, vegetables, all that, have gone up tremendously. And I think it's also statistically shown that Malaysia import a lot of food. So we considering, those food that we can go into, trees, fruits can be any other, but food-based plant, so that, not only you will diversify from palm oil, but also in a way help the country from relying too much on imported, fruits and all those. So maybe the MD want to share with us his thoughts on this. My final question is the one on the CFO briefing just now. I think he mentioned quickly about the 140 million investment in the associate company. If I'm not wrong, it's the US company. No details given. Let's just say that increase in share premium, or what sort of additional investment is that in the, I believe it's 20% associate company in US. So can we give some details on that? Thank you.
Okay, so quite a number of questions. So I think the palm wood questions, get ready to answer, Peter. So I just answered the first part on the financial costs. So plus pre-operating costs, and the land. So the palm wood factory costs us around 150 million ringgit. And now I call upon the CEO of the IOI palm wood, which is situated in Segamat, to give his answer about the sales outlook and the profit, because I want him to commit the figure that he has told me to all of you. Okay. Okay.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for the questions, which is very relevant and pertinent. In terms of our future prospects, please understand that this is a brand new concept. It's something which is much bigger than just simply putting in a facility in Segamat. We're looking at repurposing waste material, which is the oil palm trunks into something which can be substituted both in the construction business, joinery business, and also in the furniture business. So the idea or the concept behind palmwood is much bigger in the long term and medium term than short-term profits and sales. I'm sort of like, what should I say, laying the groundwork to say that economically, currently, the timber industry, the furniture industry, is also is very, very soft at the moment. So in terms of the pricing for timber products, composite panels, biomass materials has also dropped compared to, let's say, 9 months ago, 12 months ago. But to answer your question directly, we started operation in July, though it was the commissioning of the plant. This is all completely new, so we have to go through a very steep learning curve. We believe that now, as of October, we are reaching a point where we're able to produce and sell A-grade material into the market. So our first market will be for the door market, for interior doors and partitions. In terms of sales, our projected capacity is about 4 to 5,000 cubic meters per month. And the selling price that we're selling is approximately, in terms of US dollars, about 200 to 250 US dollars per cubic meter. What we will do for the rest of this year and going into next year is look at changing our product mix to go for more high value, high margin products, and also look at the export market, because for the remainder of this year, we're just concentrating on the local market, so we understand what the market constraints are, looking at the quality of the material and any issues that potential customers may have before we start to export the product. And then the other question is profitability or return on investment. What's very important for this project is that it is commercially viable. There are some things which are obviously working against us at the moment, which is things like the interest rate is increasing because we also have some borrowings, so that is a cost for us. But in terms of things which are positive for us, is that the cost of the raw material is still very low. We don't add any chemicals, so we don't have any outside costs of imported materials, so at least we're mitigating against any currency issues on imported materials. Okay, and in terms of energy, I would say that our biggest costs are obviously raw materials, energy, and labor. Raw materials we're controlling, and obviously we're sourcing a lot of the raw material from IOI estates. In terms of energy, our energy consumption is relatively low, but we also know that for the roof area that we have, we can generate all the electricity that we need from solar if we were to invest in solar in the next couple of years. So we can mitigate our electrical costs by converting to solar, and the current ROI, the last time we looked, is about 3.5 years, but obviously we're not putting that capital investment into our project yet until we get everything else stable. In terms of other energy, for the thermal energy, it's all biomass. So all the waste that we're generating is being converted into thermal oil, which is then used to process the oil palm trunks into palm wood. So, sorry?
On the profitability.
The conclusion of the profitability is that everybody is working around the clock, 100%, 101% of the time to achieve positive cash flow first. Our first priority, of course, is to achieve positive cash flow. Okay, and then of course the non-cash items and profitability will come later. My commitment to Dato is that we will be profitable by the next financial year, not this year. Thank you.
Okay, so sound less optimistic than when he first approached me to start the venture. Peter is also a shareholder in the company, so he has a stake. He has a stake to interest to make it right and profitable. But he has 18 years of experience in the rubber wood-based panel board in Segamat also. So, and his team also have quite experience. We also use machinery from Europe, Germany, Italy, after R&D of 3 to 4 years. So we believe we have a good chance to make it work. And of course, the raw material is there within our group and also surrounding areas. So it's hard work. Doing any new business is always difficult. Trying to get market acceptability, but I think eventually we will make it a good business, not only in terms of profit, but in terms of its green credentials. On the question about coconut, why coconut? Saying there's you mentioned UP, yeah, small in number, and of course, compared to oil palm, coconut always is small in numbers. So if you take our group as a whole, our aim is to plant 5,300 hectares. 5,300 hectares, but of coconut, but we have 175,000 hectares of oil palm. So you can see that it's small. But we still want to do it because it's a part of our oil portfolio that we offer to our customers. So for example, in Europe, where our associate company is, Bunge Loders Scotland, so beside palm oil, they offer coconut oil as well as sunflower oil, etc. So in terms of the price, coconut oil is about 30% higher than palm oil, 30% higher. And so that's why we go into it, and it's quite similar to plantation crop, quite similar to oil palm. If the trees look similar, the harvesting also is, in fact, easier, less, not so labor intensive also. And that goes to the next questions about fruit. Why fruit cultivation? We are doing a bit of the fruit cultivation, cash crops like banana, pineapple, but that's only as intercrop with our coconut. So that will only last for about 3 years. In terms of the requirement of labor, fruit crops actually is very labor intensive. So we find that it's not suitable for us to go into it in a large scale or in a continuous long-term basis. Then about the investment of the 30 million US through Bunge Loders. So our share is 30 million, but the plan is actually 180 million. So why? So some of it is so it doesn't match up. It's 180, 20% is 36 million, but that's because part of it comes from internal funds. So this is a plant in near New Orleans, in the southern part of the USA, and that is also primarily for palm refining. And so the acquisition has been done in around March this year, and so far it has gone according to plan. The plan is to achieve an IRR of about 18% for this plant. Okay. Any other questions?
Hello. Yeah, I'm Chan, shareholder. I'd like to know what's your biodiesel projection. Is IOI involved heavily into biodiesel as especially in the past, the government has a lot of initiatives for biodiesel and subsidies.
Short answer is no. We
Not
we
into
don't have
biodiesel.
biodiesel. Yeah.
Okay. And coming back to Dr. Surina earlier on, she was talking about one of the slides, there's 7 R's in circularity. So what is IOI's plan in all those 7 different things like recycle, reuse, and all those whatever 7 R's? And in that relation to the RSPO, especially when we are palm oil is being competed with soybean oil and all that, so Europeans and Americans are always impeding on us, saying that our palm oil is bad, for health and all that. So as IOI is one of the leading in the committees of RSPO, like the killing of to prevent the killing of orangutans and relocations of animals and all that. So what is the position in that to especially like France and all that, they are stopping us to use our palm oil there for the chocolate making and all those whatever food making. So what is our position? How can we fight back against that? I know previously when Teresa Koch was the minister, she was doing a very strong campaign for us. So in these circumstances, in the current new government, what is our plan and how is IOI cooperating in order to fight against the Europeans and US and the Westerners? Okay, and coming back to the rubber wood, I know that's a very small segment of the industry. And what's the export plans? Because in Japan, they use a lot of rubber wood, especially for the...
We don't have rubber wood.
Sorry?
We don't have rubber.
No,
don't
I
have
mean
rubber.
the
Palm wood.
palm-based wood,
okay,
yeah, okay. So is that complementary to substituting as like what the... I mean, it's good that the palm trunks have been used to replace for the rubber industry. So basically, is that a way to... Like in Japan, they use a lot of the wood-based material for the seats and all that, and the chairs and all that. So how's our plan, in the export industry? I know it's slowly because it's a very new industry. All right. Okay, thanks. Okay. And also, one last one, is the oleochemical plant and the fatty acids and glycerins expansion. What is the current utilization rate? Because you have increased such a big, humongous amount in the last second quarter of this year. And what is the marketing plan or the strategy in the export? Because apparently that in the past, ASICAM, as in part of the II group, they've been using very traditional agents internationally, especially in different markets. And they have always been keeping that stance and not opening up to the new agents for the particular like new markets like Africa or Central America, South America, all those new untapped markets. So what is your plan on doing that? Thanks. Dudley.
Okay. All right. The R's, 7 R's. I cannot remember all the 7 R's, so I can only remember 5. But I'm not going to explain all what our activities in there because it's all in this book, sustainability annual sustainability report. So it should be there.
Oh, not enough.
Not enough, huh? Okay. So since you are very interested, we will make sure to give you a copy on this. On the palm oil, on all these allegations of palm oil, of course these are nothing new. So that's why we joined RSPO in 1995. So we are one of the founder members, and today we are not only RSPO certified, but also MSPO certified. So definitely it's ongoing issue, but I see that it is the part on health is not so much now. It's not so much now. So the nutrition part.
There's an opportunity in US because now the volume has doubled down because trans fatty acid, the grass is removed, so it's great for farm.
Yeah. So yeah, it was still about, of course, palm. Dr. Kala was mentioning about the trans fatty acid. So of course, palm oil has got because of its naturally solid, semi-solid state, so it doesn't require hydrogenation, which will produce trans fat. So in that respect, it's more superior. But all these are, I would say, these are issues of I would say, more in the past. Just now you say about France, there's a Nutella issue. I was involved in it because I was the chairman of Malaysian Palm Oil Council for 11 years. So, that was already 2016, so 7 years ago already. So in the meantime, for me, of course, we are active participants in the industry associations. So I took on the job now as the role as the chairman of Malaysian Palm Oil Association. So we are always doing this lobbying work. And in the palm oil industry, we have three main bodies, what we call the ABC of the industry, Malaysian Palm Oil Association, Industry Association, Malaysian Palm Oil Board, the B, that's for research and regulation, and then the Malaysian Palm Oil Council, promotions and branding. So we are always work very hard together. And for your information also, recently we have a board member who joined us. So she's from the Ministry of Plantation and Industries. She was the former Chief Secretary, Dato' Zurina. So these are all the measures we are taking to address these issues relating to palm oil. On the palm wood, Japan, big market, Europe also, yes, also big market. But I think actually now our issue is market is very big, but now we have to get the quality right, so and also the yield right. So that's the progress. That's in progress. So I'm sure. So when we gone through this initial startup optimization, then I'm sure that all these opportunities that you are talking about will surface. But even locally also, we find that because already, actually also there's a lot of demand. So we will choose, we will see. Maybe we want to concentrate on local market when we are more confident, when we are, of course, when we need more volume of business, then of course we look at overseas, probably with a better price. Oleochemical expansion, utilization, I think I already explained it when I answered the questions from MSWG, Minority Shareholders Watchdog Group. Okay. Say again. I don't know. Okay, it's a bit.
Okay, just about especially expanding capacity such in the economic hardened times. So basically, what's the strategy moving forward for the fatty acid glycerin and the soap noodle plants, especially increasing into untapped markets and all that. So what is the positioning in that? Are you still using back the old traditional market where there's one agent for the whole country, or what's the plan in that?
Okay, maybe, I don't know, maybe you have been
I'm a past SACAM before IOI took over employee many years back when SACAM was still the owner of the bridge, Penang Bridge. Yeah.
That's 1997 already.
Yeah, quite a long time.
We took over 1997.
Yeah, that's right. I was before that. Yeah.
So 26 years ago. So I don't. Okay. So I think a lot has changed. Maybe the distributors or agents. Some have changed, some have not. So it's difficult to discuss detailed strategy here because there are many things to talk about. But how do you say? I think all these times we have, because we are the pioneer, we are the first one in the oleochemical producer in the country. So we have this brand name, and I dare say that in the past many years, 15 years. I think in terms of profitability, we have always been among the most profitable, if not the most profitable oleochemical producers. And that's because we have this reputation for quality, and also our network of customers are fairly good, established throughout so many years. So that's how we'll continue with that. I don't know whether that's considered traditional or not, but we'll do whatever works that to manage our business. Okay. Oh, you. Okay, how many questions?
One only.
One. Okay. This question I wanted to ask many long time ago because for IOI, I think not only IOI but for the more integrated palm oil companies where you have all the way from upstream to downstream, you always have to do a lot of hedges. You have derivative financial statements. So every year when we got IOI's results, some years you get gain, some years you get loss, which is very good. And at least here you show it the what we call that the normalized results. Like page 17. So we're trying to understand like net fair value loss on derivative financial instrument, right? Okay, the foreign currency I think you can't help much because you have foreign loans, you have operations all over the world, so you definitely have foreign loans. Therefore, you have to translate your currency into RM, and then therefore there may be losses and all that. So they can't be helped. I mean, of volatility in the exchange rate. But the derivative financial instruments, we try to understand how do we reconcile it, because when we want to assess IOI's performance, obviously we look at some of us are very simple investors. We just look at the earnings per share, the PE and all that. But a lot of times when you report, you have big chunk of, plus, minus, all this. So question is, are these actually, I know accounting wise you have to report it and then you have to impute it into the profit and loss and all that. But from let's say cash flow perspective, when you say you realize the loss, is it there's a contract? So that means do you actually have to? Does the company have to pay a loss on that, and it is a cash flow thing? Let me just a simple way of sharing with shareholders. How do we reconcile this? Because every year we have to see this in your financial report. Thanks.
Okay, I'll try to make it simple, so I will not ask the accountant to explain. If for manufacturing business, if you don't have the fair value gain or loss on derivative financial instruments, that means you are speculating. Yeah. So all the properly run manufacturing will have these derivative financial transactions. How does that come about? Because when we buy the goods, you are buying today or maybe next month. But when you sell today, you only get the money in. When you sell, it takes time to produce, and then you get the money only in 3 or 4 months' time. So to protect our margin, that's why we enter into this forward transaction to, let's say we receive the US dollars in 3 months' time, so we sell the US dollars first at today's price, and you know that what is our today's cost, so we lock in the margin. So no matter how it goes forward or upwards or downwards, it doesn't concern us. So the accounting rules is that what is not realized, in terms of revenue, if you don't have it in hand, you cannot account for it. But in terms of your exposure liability, if it's even though it's not crystallized, but you still have to fair value it. So let's say after we sell the US dollars, the US dollars actually gone up, strengthened. So we know that in 3 months' time, when we get the US dollar, we are going to make more. But then that is not recognized. In the meantime, because we enter into this US dollar sell contract, immediately accounting rules say we must fair value the loss. So of course there's a loss because there's to protect against the future gain. Yeah. So we only recognize one side. So that's why there's always these issues. So to make it, that's why we always try to make it understandable for shareholders. We will analyze all this and tell you what is the bottom line in the end. Okay.
Hello, my name is Jeremy. Thank you for organizing AGM today. My question is, what is the dividend expectation in 2024? And what is your comment in the share price performance in this recent changes? And also, what is your comment in the 2024 outlook in the plantation business? And also, any plan to expand the business like technology business or any new business market? Thank you.
Okay. So dividend, we have a dividend policy of at least 50% of our net profit after tax every year will be distributed for dividend. So far we are following that, and that's why you see that in the year before last year, our record dividend is last financial year. Yeah, last financial year. So we have a record dividend, 800 over million. But this year looks like so you'll be less. You'll be around 600 over million. Okay, just now the CFO actually presented I think there was a bit of issue about how the timing, whether it's considered this financial year or the following financial year. But generally speaking, it is like that. So 800 over million one year ago, but this year we expect about 600 over million or so. So share price and going for share price, are you trying to suggest it's a bit low? Okay. So I also feel it's a bit low. But I can't do it. So, but I can't really answer how to make it higher. So if it's fall below very low, we do share buyback. So that's how we are watching it. But we also at the same time we have quite a number of analysts, stock investment stock booking house like Hong Leong, for example. So they put buy recommendation on our stocks with target price of maybe 4 ringgit 66 cents, something like that. So, but when market sentiment is like bad, I also can't say much about it. New business, yeah, we always look at it, new business, but not something very far off from our core. So we have palmwood, I call it new business, and then these are according to our 5-year plan, non-CPO related, but not non-CPO but yet related. So for example, we are also looking at EFB, fiber, empty fruit bunch fiber, to make into paper pulp. So that is also under serious discussion. So coconut, etc. So these are the fairly new business for us. For coconut, we not just want to grow it, but we want to go into coconut oil as well, processing it and then to oil so that we can export it to Europe. Okay. I think he will, yeah. State your name. I'll give priority to him because he went there. Yeah. So please state your name and yeah.
Thank you. Good morning, Council Chairman and Board of Directors. Firstly, I would like to congratulate the board for your teamwork and keep the company in a profitable level. And my question has mostly been answered. Here, I want to know one question about our subsidiary, investment in subsidiaries, on page 150. You have invested in one company, in one subsidiary
100 and
Ellington, 100, page 160. Eglinton Investment Private Limited. So this, you have been continuously investing. Last year, at the cost of 4 ringgit and 22 cents per share, and this year, 4 ringgit and 68 cents per share. So now, my question is, what is our total investment holdings of this subsidiary? How many percent or how many shares? Okay, then what is the average cost of that share per se? So this is my first question. Secondly, we have, previously we had the Ukraine-Russia war. Now we have got another problem in the Middle East. Will it have any impact for the board to combat with? Thank you very much.
I don't understand your first question. That you mentioned Ellington. If it's just on Ellington or for?
Just one only. That's the one that you have last year for 2.58 million. You have used 10.9 million as an investment.
161 or 116?
161.
Okay.
And 160.
So subheading number 2.
So now the second.
So subheading number 2, Ellington Investment.
Yeah.
So there's a
For current
17.3 million.
For current year, you have given 811,000 shares at 3.8 million. So my question is, what is our total shareholding in that subsidiaries? How many percent? And what is the average cost per se?
I can't see the 161.
161, 2, number 2 also.
Can you help?
2022.
Yeah. KB, are you?
I'm looking at 2022. It's talking about Roman number 2, is it?
Yeah.
Roman 2, 161. Which one you referring? What is 2.58?
For number 2, 2.58 million.
Redeemable preference shares.
Okay, in Eglinton investment. So you have spent around 10.9 million. So that is per share, maybe it is around 422.
Not too sure. Okay.
Anyway. So this current year, for 811,000, you have spent around 3.8 million. So it works out to be somewhere around 4 ringgit and 68 cents. So I'm not rebutting with this share prices and everything. So my question is, what is our total investment holding in that subsidiaries? How many percent is it?
Oh, okay.
Okay, that is my first. And second thing is, what is the average cost per se for that investment? Now you have how many number of shares and what is the cost per share?
Okay, this one I don't have the specific, but this Eglinton is a 100% owned subsidiary of IOI.
Okay.
Yeah, so the share is all this, what you see here, preference shares is more like a capital structure that there's a conversion of the loan that we gave to this 100% owned subsidiary that we converted to preference shares. But ultimately, this Anglican company is an investment holding company, which holds investments in various investments, mostly in Singapore.
Okay, so that means, is it interest-free or they are paying interest?
This preference shares that we subscribe is equity. That means that it won't have any coupon or interest rate.
No, nothing. So it is just your 100% own?
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay. With regard to your second question on how to compare Russian-Ukraine, so Russian-Ukraine, of course, the in the initial, that was January last year. So what happened, of course, is price went up a lot. But later on, of course, towards the beginning of this year, price came down. And I think that's it I have to say. So, oh, Middle East. Middle East, I don't think I don't see no impact because we are not a heavy exporter to Middle East. Okay. Okay, you have to limit your questions, because.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not, about the Middle East, more of the oil per barrel price will be going up. So eventually CPO price will also be going up, right? Because of that. Because currently it's around 4,000 plus, right? So basically, are you saying that also during the winter you need to burn more, you need to use more oil, especially in the burning, especially in Europe when they're using a lot of biodiesel. And basically biodiesel is also, palm oil is also part of the fuel consumption need for that. Okay, coming back to coconut, understand coconut plantation, you're saying you're just initiating your planting of coconuts or it's already existing trees? And because I've also been sourcing for coconut, the fresh coconut, the full coconut into Sarawak, and it seems that there's a very shortage of coconut. So moving to coconut plantation actually is a right direction for Malaysians. And also, do you have plans into going to making into virgin coconut oil, production of that, because that's highly sought after as a substitute to olive oil, which is much more expensive. Yep, thanks.
Yeah, so we have plans to, but not to consumer products. So we are still coconut oil for industrial use. Yeah. So, yeah. And we are planting already. We already planted, I think it's also reported just now, something like, so we planted for 400 hectares, and then this year, 1,000 plus hectares. Eventually, 5,300 hectares. Okay. All right. I think.
Last question. One last question.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, board members and fellow attendees. Definitely no question, comments only.
Oh.
We have got 9 resolutions coming up. I'm very confident we'll get 100% votes for all of them. No question about it. And most important for me, I'm voting for all of them. The most important resolution number 4, 1.45 million for the committee directors plus the sustainability index. I say thank you to Dr. Zarina for the excellent presentation on that. Very important for us. And especially she must be taking the advice from our Dr. Kala. Impeccable track record from MPOP and UNICEF writing. Thank you very much for that. Number 2, I must bow to Dato' Lee and Tan Sri Peter Chin for the excellent performance in managing this company. Thank you very much. Please take care of the barn owl in our plantation, part of the ecological environment. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you. So I think that's a good signal to end the Q&A. We end on a good note.
Okay. Thank you very much for the. What's your name? You didn't put up your name. Pile. Oh, thank you, Pile, for trusting the company. Since there is no further question, I shall now declare that the Q&A session closed. We sincerely thank everyone, those who are online, those who have pre-submitted the questions, MSWG, PNB, EPF. So we hope that our answers have met your expectations. And if not, you can always write to us again, and we will try and answer you in a more detailed way. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall now allocate additional 5 minutes for shareholders who have yet to cast your votes. We anticipate that the counting of votes by the administration and polling agent and the validation of results by the independent scrutineers will take approximately 5 minutes after the conclusion of the voting session. The meeting will resume upon receiving poll results verified by the scrutineers. So, ladies and gentlemen, the 5-minute countdown starts now. If you have not yet cast your votes for the resolution tabled, please proceed to do so now.
How to cast your vote. Exit full screen mode to start submitting your vote. On the right side of the video screen, you should see the portion to cast your votes per resolution. Click on Next to see other resolutions and vote accordingly. Should you want to cancel your vote, simply click on Cancel Vote and vote again accordingly. That's how easy it is to cast your vote. How to cast your vote. Exit full screen mode to start submitting your vote. On the right side of the video screen, you should see the portion to cast your votes per resolution. Click on Next to see other resolutions and vote accordingly. Should you want to cancel your vote, simply click on Cancel Vote and vote again accordingly. That's how easy it is to cast your vote. How to cast your vote. Exit full screen mode to start submitting your vote. On the right side of the video screen, you should see the portion to cast your votes per resolution. Click on Next to see other resolutions and vote accordingly. Should you want to cancel your vote, simply click on Cancel Vote and vote again accordingly. That's how easy it is to cast your vote. How to cast your vote. Exit full screen mode to start submitting your vote. On the right side of the video screen, you should see the portion to cast your votes per resolution. Click on Next to see other resolutions and vote accordingly. Should you want to cancel your vote, simply click on Cancel Vote and vote again accordingly. That's how easy it is to cast your vote. How to cast your vote. Exit full screen mode to start submitting your vote. On the right side of the video screen, you should see the portion to cast your votes per resolution. Click on Next to see other resolutions and vote accordingly. Should you want to cancel your vote, simply click on Cancel Vote and vote again accordingly. That's how easy it is to cast your vote. How to cast your vote. Exit full screen mode to start submitting your vote. On the right side of the video screen, you should see the portion to cast your votes per resolution. Click on Next to see other resolutions and vote accordingly. Should you want to cancel your vote, simply click on Cancel Vote and vote again accordingly. That's how easy it is to cast your vote. How to cast your vote. Exit full screen mode to start submitting your vote. On the right side of the video screen, you should see the portion to cast your votes per resolution. Click on Next to see other resolutions and vote accordingly. Should you want to cancel your vote, simply click on Cancel Vote and vote again accordingly. That's how easy it is to cast your vote. How to cast your vote.
Okay, good afternoon to all of you.
Slowly. Oh.
Thank you for your patience and your support in attending this AGM. I have just received the results of the poll validated by the scrutineers, and we now resume the meeting for the declaration of the results. The Secretary will announce the poll results on my behalf.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll just declare Resolution 1, number of votes for, I've written in terms of percentage, 99.99%, and versus against 0.08%. Resolution 2, 99.99% for, and also 0.005% against. Resolution 3, 99.88% voted for versus 0.11% against. Resolution 4, 99.99% versus 0.006%. Resolution 5, 99.99% versus 0.0082 voted against. Resolution 6, 99.9% versus 0.098% against. Resolution 7, 75.65% versus 24% against. Resolution 8, 99.78% voted for versus 0.21% against. And lastly, 99.98% voted for Resolution 9 and versus Resolution 0.019 voted against.
Okay, thank you, Vincent, for announcing the results of the poll on all the resolutions involved in today's AGM. I thank all of you for your support. On behalf of the board, I hereby declare that all the ordinary resolutions for today's meeting are duly carried. With that, our hybrid 54th AGM comes to a close. I hereby declare the 54th Annual General Meeting concluded. Thank you very much.
Thank you.